Welcome back everyone to Piney Plays the Brawler, where last time we managed to remove the corruption from the necklace that we found in Mordor. So now Elrond needs to turn it into a relic of good, right?
You will need the aid of a light that can pierce the darkness.
I know why you have come, Pine Punch. If you're to journey beneath the shrouds that covers Gorgoroth, you will need the aid of a light that can pierce the darkness. So it was with those who coveted this necklace when it contained malevolence, or the promise of direction. Now that it is just a necklace, perhaps it will aid you, as it did not aid them. Everyone takes the necklace of the ordinary from you and dips it into the font behind him. When the artifact emerges from the glowing circle, light drips soundlessly from it and pools like water in the basin. Elrond smiles at the sight, and his voice contains both determination and joy when he speaks again. With the light of Arendelle, you will be able to walk there in the shadows and overcome them. Right?
Arendelle was a mariner.
Arendelle was a mariner, and he braved the storm and roaring waves. He bore shining light out of the darkness. He voyaged through the sadness and woe, cresting the waves of his sorrow, and braving the winds of wrath to bring hope from afar. He travels still upon his errand, not upon the seas of the world, but those of heaven, the light of the Cimmeril on his brow showing the way. Elrond falls silent and gazes up at the sky, remembering distant memories. For all the Eldar, the light of Arendelle's star is counted the most precious. It is a sign of hope for all who labor against the great enemy or the multitudes of his servants. For me, it is something more. Arendelle was a mariner, but he was also my sire. When I look to the stars, I remember much that has now gone beyond the circles of the world, and the joy of memory is tinged with the sorrow of loss. I give you this gift so that you may bear the light of Arendelle with you, and it will be a shining lamp in the darkness. Right, so I guess I go back to Mithril here. So it's strange, of course, that this brightest of all lights, Elrond's father and all this stuff, is that the star in the real world that they named after Arendelle is the most distant one that they found. Anyway, let's get back to Mithril here. There are always clouds over Mordor, but at least these are normal clouds, if a little bit on the stormy side. Maybe this rain will start to wash away the filth of Mordor. That would be good. But it may also add more water to the dead marshes, which it'd be problematic. Anyway, I forgot to open up my gift from Elrond. Let's see what we got here. A necklace of the ordinary. Oh, it's a pocket item. Ah, I guess. Oh, it's a broken necklace. So of course it's not going to be treated as a necklace. So instead take that one. Okay, some nice might, and oh, of course I'm comparing it to a sleigh bell. But it will have plus 12 light, so that brings, well, I won't be able to see my light for now because I'm not in Mordor at the moment. Hello, Mithril dear, I'm back.
The light of Arendelle will serve you well within Gorgoroth.
Ah, you have cleansed the corruption from the artifact that Eorson brought from Durthang. I never doubted you would be equal to the task. The light of Arendelle will serve you well within Gorgoroth. I deem that few of the commanders of which Eorson spoke will be able to endure its presence, and none will enjoy it. It will bring them discomfort, and aid you in the piercing the shadow. Yes, it is time to press further into Mordor. Alright, let's see how we do in Gorgoroth.
Enemies still hold the channel between Udun and Dor Amarth.
Adventurers of the Free Peoples have set foot into Udun, but the fortress of Agarn has hindered further passage. The eruption of Urudrun melted the doors of his mouth, and they cannot be shut. But enemies still hold the channel between Udun and Dwarf Mars. Some few have managed the passage, rangers, elves, and others utilizing the arts of stealth. I believe that you can advance into Doomfold or Dwarf Mars. Pass through the guarded Azimuth and find Brungos on the other side. He will tell you somewhat of what he has done and what has yet to be accomplished. Right. Do I bother? I guess I should at least go and on the other side and see what I can punch on the other side of there. But right now I need to get to the Azimuth. I have arrived here at Azimuth. It looks like that this is a Shadow 30 zone, but since I have 22 light, I'm only at effective Shadow 8, which gives me only a level 1 debuff, so that's nice. Still got a couple of enforcers around here. I really need to get one or two more of these before completely leaving the area. Is there another one around here? Well, no, not quite. Well, I guess I'll have to find them later. Because right now, the Azimuth is guarded. But when has that ever hindered you? Right! When has that ever hindered me? So I need to pass through the Azimuth and find Brungos in Dwarf Mars. And I think that's in Dingarth or Ruins of Dingarth or something like that. That's where I presume they are at. Is this up? Yeah, here we are. Yes, I have found the location. Because I see barterers, rewards vendors, and the like. Not much left of it, but I guess it's 3,000 years after the version of it that's in the Second Age. So that's foothold it. You have found Brungos in the Doomfold. Hi!
Welcome to the Doomfold of Dor Armath.
But even as I bid you this greeting, the words rebel upon my lips. Welcome? Who would be welcome in this place? It is the way of my people to survive in the wilderness, hunting game and foraging for food, even when the land seems barren. Those skills would be well tested in this place. Luckily, it should not be necessary. I have brought supplies enough to last me, and, in any event, I would not trust anything that could grow here. Was this valley once fertile? I can't imagine, but mortal eyes are oft quick to judge, given how little we see of the great span of time. Before Sauron came, was this land green and growing? Brungos dismisses the thought with a shrug. Mayhap I will consider further when we are safely away from here. For now, the land is dead and full of enemies, and we should ask pointed questions with the dagger and blade, and set aside any questions that do not fell our foes. I'm right, so I need to fell some foes. I suppose that'll help me to test my metal here. See what I can find. That is a salamander, a 109 salamander, so they're one level above me. That should help to test me a little bit. Though that was just a salamander. We need something a little bit tougher than that if we are going to... Ah! There we are! A drake. At level with it, but it's a Siggy, so that gives it a little bit more. Beast Slayer of Dwarf Mars. Beast Slayer? What do you mean Beast Slayer? That's not a beast, that's a dragon kind. Bit for understatement, how are we? Now let's see the... Yeah, that salamander looks a little bit on the weak side. Let's see if we can find something a little bit tougher. And it does say defeat enemies in Dwarf Mars. So that means they could be any enemies at all. So let me see if I can find something tougher. Maybe in a slightly tougher area. And not actually. Let's try a bat. It's one level above us. Right. Normal's at level. Ah, here we are. A 109 Drake. That should be a little bit better. And yeah, not much of a threat. Let's see if I can find something a little bit tougher. A 109 Grim should be a nice start. Yeah, no, it's not a signature, but we can at least see how the Grims are. So sometimes, I was going to say sometimes they can be tough in their own way, but obviously, nah. I just punched through them as if they were nothing. Here's a worm. Is it tougher than a salamander? It won't be as tough as a drake, of course, but we had to check. Alright, let's continue deeper and deeper and deeper. I managed to get outside of Dwarf Mars, so this isn't going to count for the quest I'm on, but here's a level 113 salamander, and I'm in a Shadow 5 zone. Now that's got to be a challenge, right? So let's see what this is like. It is, yes, it's only a salamander. Really? That was 5 levels above me. 5 levels. Well, I'd have thought that that would have tested me a little bit. 5 levels. Oh, hold on. Ah! How about here? I am now in a Shadow 8 area, so this is really deep shadow, and this is against a dark water. And I'm not too sure I want to go against too many of them at once, but when that one gets back up, maybe I could battle it. Really? What am I fighting now? Okay, there seem to be lots of them around. Alright, so I have fought well, I think that answers that question. Oh boy! I just overpowered them. Just sliced through them. Well, I think you could say that enough power to get through Mordor on this character. How about a Suluk? Now, I know it's only a 109 sig. It's not 5 levels above me like those Dark Waters were. But it's in Dwarf Mars, and I need to finish this quest. And it's the toughest thing I could find in the area. Well, there isn't much tough around here then. Oh, a dire horn. I should try one of these. Not that I'm expecting any different results than what I got before. Yep, different mob, same results. If that's the toughest they've got, I have no idea what people are worried about.
Can it be that this land was once much like any other?
I have faced many foes here myself, but still my mind worries at the subject about which we spoke. Can it be that this land was once much the same as any other, but the coming of Sauron laid waste to it? There are countless reasons to rejoice that he's gone, but even for one among many, it must approach the top of the list. If he could do this to Mordor, could he not have worked such change upon Gondor, or to Rohan, or to Eriador? I deem that he could. Further, I contend that the transformation of Dwarf Mars to this blasted plain was not accidental. I believe he did it purposefully, and with malicious intent, if not for some scheme, then merely for the hateful joy of it. I spoke about this with Covadil, who dared the passage of the Esmouth with me. I think it was she who first planted these thoughts in my mind, and now I can't stop thinking of them. She intended to travel northeast to Lurash. I warned her to be careful, but she found it mirthful and laughed at my warning. She is a scholar and a bit odd, but I do hope that she's being careful all the same. Perhaps you could find her and see how she fares? Yes, Covadil. Who laughs at warnings? Laughs in the face of warnings! Ah, here's a nice lovely place that a scholar might study. Let's see if I can find her about anywhere. Ah! At the Spire of Lurash.
Will you look at that? That is the Spire of Lurash.
This is a fortress that was built there upon the lowest plains of Ered Luthi when Gondor established its watch upon Mordor. It was called the Peacehold of Sithos, and nothing moved in nor ruin without alerting the attention of its defenders. But the vigilance of Gondor failed in time, and it was abandoned. The orcs burrowed beneath its foundations, and the earth shook, and Sithos crumbled into ruin. The Spire of Lurash arose in its place. That is it, right over there. If it weren't for the scholarly pursuit of knowledge, you would think that was merely an evil tower. But now you know some of its history. Isn't that fascinating? But there was once a Gondorian fortress there, and I wonder if there still might be some sign of it. You should do what we scholars of the House of Lures often do when we want to unearth lost knowledge. We dig about the debris. You never know what you might find. Search the old ash piles around the spire and see if you can find some remnant of the Gondorian presence here, for knowledge and for knowing. Dig in 6 ash piles. Well, alright, fine. I think that the first... a dire horn. But it's an on-level dire horn, so it is not really going to bug me any, is it? Well, okay. It might annoy me a little bit, but unless I was completely not paying attention, it's not going to kill me. So let's then head to Lurash, the Flaming Spire, and an ash pile. Old ash pile number 1. Yep. Nothing yet. Oh, ash pile number 2. Nothing yet. So let's go and try to find another. Ah, we have some black Numenorians. I presume this is a 108 normal, so yeah. That really accomplished nothing, except to reduce the number of black Numenorians temporarily that are in the area. Oh, another ash pile. Oh, double teaming! We could use that. Oh, triple teaming. And there we go. See, even my slowness and interrupting didn't allow them in order to get anything seriously done there. One last ash pile, and we shall be done. Now, bring a broken metal pieces to Coverdale that I found. So apparently I was finding broken metal pieces while I was doing all of that. Here are the pieces.
Digging in the debris is never a waste, not for a scholar of history.
The broken pieces of metal is unremarkable save for this marking right over here. Do you see it? It is half of a sigil of Gondor. Nay, not even half. It may be more of a small portion of a small portion, but even a portion's portion is a delight to one who thirsts for knowledge. This tiny remnant of history has emerged from the ash, a reminder to us of Gondor's resistance and resilience. My master will surely find value in this discovery, even if I was not supposed to adventure here. The House of Lore will benefit from this, I don't doubt it. This is much more interesting than anything I might have found in Osgiliath, so close to Minas Tirith. This is a land of danger, an unknown land, and the rewards are greater to match. Wonderful.
Hold on. Do you hear that?
There are people approaching from down the road, and they sound as if there is a tremendous hurry. Oh, what's going on now? Do they have anything that's interesting that could challenge a brawler? That seems to be fighting off mobs 5 levels higher while in nasty amounts of darkness. Ah, a pair of Gondorian soldiers.
You don't want to go this way, friend.
Ours was a small company of soldiers aiming to plunder the ruins of Barad-dûr for treasure, and each man was to have a share of the loot. But one of our numbers turned on us, he did, and thought to slay us. I don't know why he attacked us, wanted our share of the treasure, most like, but I can't see what Rogrin would strike out at his foes like that. Never known him to be a turncoat, at least not till today. Rogreen, you say?
There is something terrible about the wreckage of Sauron's tower.
Well, considering that Sauron's been living there for not for the entirety of the 3,000 years, seeing how he had that little inconvenience that was given to him by Isildur, but seeing that he has been in there for quite some time, I can understand there being something terrible there. Enormous pieces of the tower fell to the ground when the Dark Lord was destroyed, and the land all around is an unpleasant air. But I never thought it would work such a change on one of my fellows. Rogreen was just as always was when we journeyed out, but when we approached the terrible pit and the great abyss, that abyss was the site of Barad-dûr when it stood still here. Something about it infused Rogreen with a new type of madness, and he attacked us, we his fellow friends, as if years of service and kinship meant nothing. Bah! Oh. What do you see about that, Coverdale?
I spoke with Rogrin at the Black Gate. He seemed like a nice enough sort.
Rogrim did not seem like the type to attack his friends for treasure or for anything. I think Faranek was right. The abyss where Barad-dûr once stood is still surrounded by corruption, and it drove Rogreen to madness. You have to find him before any harm comes to him or to someone else, but do not kill him. Remember the lessons of the metal scrap from the ash pile. Even good things, once buried, can be unearthed again. Find Rogrim by the abyss, and knock some sense into him, but don't kill him, for that is not easily undone. Well, you do have a point there. Well, I should tell you about a certain necklace that I've recovered recently, because I think that also talks about unearthing things and finding good uses for them later on. This is most definitely not a hospitable location, full of thorny bushes. Well, at least it's something that grows. Oh, Hyrule Green.
Stay back! I'll kill you!
You won't get me! Invisible foes flitting all around! You can't see them, but they can see you! They're all around! Stay back! I'll kill you! I'll kill you! Please don't make me kill you. Okay, thank you. Oh, High Punch! Oh, what are you doing out here? In point of fact, what am I doing out here? I last remember standing on the road somewhere near Lurash, but that is many miles away. Is it not? I remember... Oh, my friends! I think I attacked them. I didn't mean to do it, but there was such an overwhelming feeling of I don't know how to describe it. My will was overwhelmed. Did I think that I had the strength of Gondor? I was driven to madness by a common orc and set upon by my fellows. I'm shamed, Fine Punch. I didn't understand the potency of Sauron's evil. Even after this fall, the lands here are touched remains marred by the memory of him. I must find my friends and apologize. I hope that they'll understand that I was not myself then. I have to leave this place. I am not equal to it. Alright, good. Whew. Well, now let's get back to Covadil. I think I knocked some sense into him, and I think he's going to be leaving soon.
You saved Rogreen from himself? I am so glad.
Your story confirms something that I suspected. Sauron instructed his servants to build him a kingly castle, a stronghold on a hill that was called Amandur. Over the long passage of years, his servants expanded the castle to cover all of the hill, and it grew to a new construction until it towered into the air. It became Barad-dûr, the Dark Tower, and reached so high that only Sauron's magic could hold it aloft. But the tower did not only reach skyward. Beneath Barad-dûr, the orcs delved fathomless dungeons for their master, until the arid Lithwi were riddled with pits and chasms. When the tower fell, the land gave way, and a great abyss opened where Barad-dûr once stood. Sauron's dungeons were exposed to the sky, the abyss of Mordath. Knowledge can be frightening. Anyway, Sauron may be gone, but he dwelt in Barad-dûr for so long that the land has not forgotten him. It sounds to me as if he left his impression on the abyss of the lands around him. You should find Mithrandir and tell him this, and I think it is time that I return to the House of Lore. I am not afraid of danger, in moderation, but this is more than moderately terrifying. Ah, yes. Thank you for also coming to your senses. And it looks like that I am not finding much of a challenge here in Mordor, so I think we will stop this little trip into Mordor. And I think I have looked at everything I wanted to do with the Brawler. So I am going to make next episode the last one, and I am going to run a Fellowship version of a skirmish at level. I'll use the level 140 Brawler for this, and let's see how well I can do about that as my final little test here in Piney Plays the Brawler.